Good afternoon. Welcome to Martial Arts America, Team Navarre. My name is Mr. Kiley. Today's date is April 27th. It is a Monday. This is your True Adult Beginner class of the day. Let's begin. Feet together and bow. Take your hands out, shake it side to side. It is forms week this week, up and down. So we're taking Dragon Kata to a whole new level. Forms staying the same, but we're going to try to take our time and make sure that all the parts of the form are the very best we can make them. So we're going to check out each individual movement. Good. Roll them up and down again. And leave your feet together, stretch down. We're going to break apart every individual movement, make it amazing. Then we're going to put those and check the combinations that those moves are in and make them amazing. So then when we put that all into a form, the form itself will be awesome. Reach out real tall. Take a step out with your feet. Stretch down. Over to the left side. Other side. Bend your left knee. Remember, if you're having a hard time balancing like this part is not mandatory. The mandatory part is that you keep your foot bladed and you keep your foot kind of leaning to the inside. You can also do this part like this where you actually just put your knee down and sink into it this way. And the main purpose, let's keep the main thing. We're working on this drill. Keep the focus on, what the drill is intended for, which is stretching out the inside part of your leg, which is the part that needs to be loosened up in order to do awesome side kicks and awesome round kicks. So all the way down, heel toes touching. We talked a couple weeks ago during Challenge Week about working our full splits and trying to see, and just working stretching in general, and seeing that when you guys are in class, and especially when you guys don't have class scheduled, whichever days those are, that you guys are still stretching, hopefully stretching every single day, and trying to see if we really commit a month to stretching and stretching the best we can, how much better and how much more flexible we can get by staying committed and building that habit. So hopefully you guys are still working that habit. This is kind of the final week working that, and kind of seeing how much of an improvement we have made. Remember, we talked about when we started doing this, the goal wasn't necessarily to get our full split. Okay, the goal was just to see how much more flexible we could become. If that ends up in you getting your full split over the last month, fantastic. Okay, but not every student's going to be there, and that's okay. Your goal is just to see, have you gotten better by practicing consistently and with a lot of focus? And if so, then let's keep that up so you guys can keep working towards those goals. Put your left foot out, stretch down. Switch sides. Remember, the goal is not necessarily to touch your toes, because the goal is just to stretch out and feel the tightness in the back of your leg. Good. If by touching your toes that helps you do that, good. But if you have to bend your knee in order to touch your toes, and you're kind of defeating the purpose. Take a step. Take both legs out. Body up nice and tall. That's the most important part for me, is that knees are straight and your back is straight as well. So instead of being here, good, you're trying to pull everything back. Pulling your shoulders back so you're not crunched in the front. Everything is opened up nice and strong. Or to the left side. If you can touch your toes with your left hand, or almost touch your toes, and try to bring your right hand all the way over, just like this. It's a different way to do it. If you can do this, then hold on with this arm and put your left hand across your body like that. Just another different way to stretch it. Stretch forward. Take one hand in the front, one hand in the back. Kind of keep this leg where it is. We're going to slightly lift our body up and try to push our leg further away from us. I'm trying to get that leg to go way over there. By doing that, you'll naturally increase your full split stretch. So that's kind of your trick to stretching out your full split better. Instead of most students try to pull their leg backwards more. But a lot of times, if you try to pull your leg backwards more, just kind of watch this, that'll just end up in your body moving. So instead, you try to keep the legs where they are, and especially this one, and the other leg just pushes out further from your body. That'll make both legs push out more. Posture up tall. Remember, when leaning forward, you don't want to kind of crunch your body over. Your body wants to stay unfolded, and you don't want to go down as much as you want to go forwards. You want to go out away from your body. Slide your legs in, pull your legs in, shake it out. So we stretch the back of our legs. So we're going to really quickly stretch the front of your leg. You're going to simply lean over, pull this leg behind you just like so. You're going to lean back here. I've seen some students do this, and when they do this, they try to just lay all the way backwards on their back, which is okay, as long as your knee does not come off the ground. If you do this, and if you lay backwards and this happens, that's your body's way of saying, oh, that's too far. And so it's very important to keep your kind of do it slowly so you can feel the stretch in the top of your leg. You also don't normally want to stretch both of those. Some students will stretch both legs backwards at the same time. That can be kind of bad for your knees, so it's helpful to just do one at a time. We're not in a race. Awesome job. All the way up, feet together, and bow. Keep my stance. Left hand out, right hand is pulled in nice and strong. Remember to make your punches faster. Not only do you want to really send that hand out in a straight line, so it's not swimming, it's in a straight line, turning over halfway through, but you're also focusing on turning this one over and pulling it back at the same time. So you're not just drifting this one backwards, really snapping it backwards as this one is striking itself forward. Okay, so left hand out, one punch, and go. Go. When you punch, you should feel it rub against your rib until it finishes. There, good, and go. One more time, go. Excellent job. 2 punches, and go. Go. Stance. Go. Go. 3 punches. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. I love fast punches as long as they're still strong. So if it ends up like this, if we're doing these little short arming punches, good, that's not going to work. So instead of 1, 2, 3, it needs to be 1, 2, 3. Good. Slower punches that are still stronger punches will end up becoming faster punches later, which is what we're looking for. Good. And go. 1, 2, 3. So really extend those punches nice and strong. And go. 1, 2, 3. Good. One more time. And go. 1, 2, 3. Last time. Ready. Go. Excellent job. And feet together. Bow. Okay, step back with your right foot. We need to real fast work on our basic kicks to make sure they're strong and also help loosen our legs up a little bit. We have our back leg front kick that we haven't done in a little while. So we spend a lot of time working on our side kick and our round kick. So let's go back and work our front kick. Remember, step 1, you pick your knee up. Step 2, you kick it out. Show me the balance. Step 3, pull it back. Step 4, put it down. This kick is super important that you bend your knee. You don't just swing your leg. We like to do this kick high, which is good, but I also need to make sure the kick is done correctly by bending your knee. Ready? So pick it up, kick it out, pull it back, put it down. So do it a little bit faster, and go. Good. That's what gives it the snap. Ready? Go. One more time. Go. Excellent job. Switch feet. Trying to keep your head up nice and tall. Ready? So slow motion. Step 1, find your balance. Step 2, if you're losing your balance, just kick a little bit lower. Keep it closer to the ground. Step 3, and step 4, put it back where you got it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Now at your own speed and find a good comfortable spot. And instead of kicking up super high, maybe kick out like to the chest or to the belt. And so you can do that with a lot of balance and a lot of speed. Ready? Go. Good. Still, first step being to pull your knee in nice and tight to your body. And go. Good. One more time. Ready, go. Excellent. Feet together. Bow. Very good. So turn sideways. Put your right leg in the front. Just really quickly going over the difference between the side kick and the round kick. So we have those in your form back to back. So it's very important those kicks are super different, right? So your side kick, what you're trying to really focus on doing isn't actually even the kick yet. Okay, it's the chamber. Making sure that your very first step off the floor with your kicking leg is completely different. So for your side kick, it's going to come up here, kind of like that front kick did, right? And then from there, you put it back down. So side kick, pick it up, straight up in the front, right? For round kick, pull it directly behind you. So kind of see the very vast difference. Side kick, pick it up like this, hold it, find the balance, put it down. Round kick, pull it back like that. Put it back down. Okay, so now we're going to add the turnover, the flip, right? So I have a chamber. Good, and then I have the flip. This is your side kick. So I'm showing the heel where it's going because that's going to be the striking point. And then for your round kick, pull it back, pull it up. So I'm pointing my knee. I'm showing the top of my foot this time to the target. All right, so that's, again, the very big difference. So back to the side kick, chamber it up, turn it over with one thing that these kicks do have in common, you do want to lean back a little bit when you turn your foot over. So when you go from the chamber to the flip, you want to make sure you're kind of leaning back to balance yourself out a little bit, or pulling the kick down a little bit so you don't fall backwards, right? So side kick again, I chamber it up, flip it over, and then with the round kick, I pull it back, and then I chamber it up like that. Okay, one more time with the round kick, pull it back, flip it up. Okay, so now extending the kick. One thing the kicks also do have in common is you are going to pivot as you kick. Okay, for right now, we're going to pivot before we kick to help our balance out a little bit. But then once this kick gets very confident and powerful, we will actually pivot and turn our back foot as we're kicking out our front foot. Okay, for right now, take the leg that's behind you and just point those toes away from you. Point them away from the camera. So you can actually bend that knee and lean on it if you needed to. Okay, so I turn my foot, I pivot my foot, I take my front foot, I'm going to lift it up, turn it over for my side kick. Now I can kick it out, pull it back, and put it down. We're doing it slow so our body can feel every part of the kick, all right? So back foot's still pivoted. I'm going to chamber up my front foot, pull it nice and tall for the side kick, flip it over, show the heel where it's going, blade the foot and point it out, pull it back, put it down. Last little thing to kind of add to your checklist of your side kicks: when you kick your foot out nice and strong, make sure you're not pointing your toes. A lot of times it's really easy to pull our foot upwards when our whole leg is coming upwards, right? But when I go to kick my leg out, sometimes we then want to point our toes. Sometimes our foot tries to follow the motion of your leg. I'll show you from the side. Okay, from here, it's very important that as you're kicking, so my foot and my toes are sideways. They're not pointing. But so sometimes when we do our side kick, I'll see a lot of students try to either get a little extra distance on their side kick, or they're just used to their whole foot pushing forward, and so their foot goes like that, and it starts to poke. Okay, but that can hurt your toes if you're hitting a target that way. So I want to make sure you're using the blade and the heel of your front foot. So keep those toes pulled back to you so it stays in that side kick position. Good. Here, chamber, flip, extend, pull it back, put it down. Good, and then from here, with the round kick, very similar. Back foot is still pivoted. I'm going to pull it behind me, chamber it up, point my knee where the target's going to go, extend my foot outwards, pull it back, put it down. On the same token, let's do it one more time first. Pull it back, lift it up. This is that round kick. Lean back a little bit, so I'm finding my balance. Point your toes at me, pull them back, put it down. So on the same reasoning, okay, sometimes with the side kick, when we're pushing our foot out, we tend to poke our toes out. Sometimes with a round kick, since my foot is coming forward like this, a lot of students will tend to pull their toes forward too. So from here, my foot's super awesomely straight and pulled back, but when we go to push our foot, they feel this motion, and they want to then push their toes. So my foot's like that. You can see the bottom of my foot. You shouldn't see the bottom of my foot. It should be there. Okay, so just try to make sure when you guys are doing your round kick that if you look down at your foot, you're not pulling your foot towards you. It's pushing, it's poking, and pointing away. So it's staying there. That's a lot of times when we're doing kicks, we really kind of focus on when we tell you guys to grab onto something and balance, because sometimes if your body's wobbling and kind of feeling like it's going to fall, we spend a lot of our focus more so on balancing ourselves than on what our actual kicking leg is doing. And so it's very important to kind of do those things one thing at a time until you can get the actual end of the foot to do what it's supposed to do, depending on what the kick is. Have something to hold on to so you can focus on doing that right. When that part's good, then we'll focus on balancing on the kick by itself. Okay, so now we're going to take those, we're going to put that in Dragon Kata and make Dragon Kata amazing. Ready? Bow. Okay, step out, say martial arts, America, Dragon Kata, step back, hands up. Yeah. We're going to do the form a couple different times, having a different focus every time we do it. Right now, it's just trying to make sure we have all the techniques with our hands up and they're going to the correct spot. So if we do a back fist, it's not down here and it's not over there. Where's the back fist go? Good. To the nose. So you're kind of using me as a target. I'm using you as a target. I'm back fisting right to your nose. Very good. And then from there, I turn, punch to the chin, just like that. So there's the back fist and the punch. And the back leg round kick goes wherever you can do it correctly. If you can kick to the knee, that's good. If you can kick to the chest, that's good. If you can kick to the nose or the face while still having a correct kick, then you can do that. So I want to open up this foot. There's my pivot. Extend it out. Pull it back. Set it in the front. Same thing for your side kick. However high you can kick properly. Slide to me. Knee comes up in front of your body this time. Turn it over. Kick it out. Pull it back. Set it down. For bonus points, set it down. And instead of setting it down on a sideways line like this, you actually, watch my foot. So it starts on this side line here. So they start kind of side by side. But when I land it, I actually move it over. Because I'm going to throw a what? Now comes after that side up side kick. A back fist to the chin. Then I drop down, punch to the stomach. Hands open up. Rotate to the left, hands come down, side kick goes up, come back up. When you come back up, your left hand, so your right hand comes to your chin to protect yourself. Your left hand goes behind you, preparing to ridge hand. So my body stays sideways when I come back up. I'm still almost like I'm skateboarding, surfboarding. And then I turn my body flat, and there's your ridge hand. Thumb is tucked under, and it comes into your chin. And you open this one up, knife hand it, roll. Notice how when I roll, my body turns sideways again, and then I block. And then final move, there's the last punch. All right, so we're breaking each move down, getting them to the correct targets. This time we're going to do it a little bit faster, focusing on finding our balance, even though we're speeding up the form a little bit. Ready? No pressure. Hands up. And so this is Dragon Kata still. And 1. Back fist, punch. There's your kick. Set in the front. Try to stay sideways when you land that round kick. You always want to try to set up. When you put your foot down from the previous move, it should set up the next move. So when I do my round kick, I'm in a guard stance. And I don't want to land in a guard stance. I want to land in a side kicking stance. My feet aren't way out wide because that's too hard to move in. They're right underneath my shoulders, so I can be fast still. Okay, so let's start the form over. I back fist. I stepped out so I can now pivot. Very good. From my punch, I can quickly throw my back leg round kick. When I set it down on the same line, almost like a really bad Kemai stance. And then I slide my feet together as I side kick out. When I pull it back in and put it down, I pivot my foot, and I open up my stance. Let me back up a little bit. Good, so a little trick there, tricks of the trade, is that after you've pulled that leg back in from your side kick, before you set it back down, you'll take this back leg, and you'll turn it where you're going. It's really hard to get this foot to open up here if this foot is stuck right where it is. But if I turn it, your hips are now going in the same spot, so it's a lot easier. It makes a lot more sense, okay? So again, from here, as you pull your leg back in, turn your body, then set it down. As you set it down, there's your back fist. From here, I can drop straight down. There's your punch. Now I can drop down, knee comes in, and I side kick up. As you sit back up, your body stays sideways. You're almost trying to hide that left arm. So you shouldn't be able to see it because it's hiding behind my body until I turn, and there's my strike. Fingers point where they're going. And then from here, after that, it comes into your chin. As you're pulling this to your chin, see how it's coming back? So my shoulders are starting to turn already. That's this motion. So you're also trying to combine those motions. So I sit up, there's my ridge hand, and then as I pull it back to my chin, that's going to make me want to turn my shoulders back to normal. So as I do that, my right hand does the knife hand. That's just kind of a little black belt tip there, and then I punch at the end. Good. Another little thing to work on, if you're not yet stretchy enough to keep your leg on the ground and reach all the way back behind you like this with balance, it is kind of okay to take that leg you're going to end up kicking with and slightly pull it off the ground and almost guide yourself backwards. So you can kind of watch. I'll show you from the side. So I'm here. Instead of having to turn and reach all the way behind me and find the ground that way, you can also lift up this leg and almost fall onto your hands, as long as you can still catch yourself because your arms are strong. Don't bend your elbows too much, you will fall flat on the ground. So I want to make sure when you're doing that, you can see and feel the ground. There's your strike. And you actually physically push off the ground to sit back up. Okay, last time, instead of saying the movements, we're just going to do them together. I'm going to say the numbers. So I don't want to give away each technique and say back fist and say punch. I just want you to start recalling those from your own, but I will attach them to a number. So if I say number 1, that's your back fist and your punch and your back leg round kick. If I say 2, that's your slide up side kick, your back fist, your drop down punch. If I say 3, that's the last part of the form. You have the ridge hand, the knife hand, and then the final punch. So now instead of saying each individual movement, we're putting them into combinations of movements. All right, let's go back to guard stance. And 1, back fist, punch, round kick. 2, 3, okay, back up. Last time. This time I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say 1 or 2 or 3. I'm just going to do the form. Your job is to try to mirror me, good, while we do it together. I'm still bowing. Good, back up. So last thing we're going to work on is going to be your kicking combination. Again, breaking it out of the form. We've got a lot of time and effort working our right side. We haven't worked our left side at all. So we need to make sure we break that down. We can do each leg strong. It's okay to have one leg better than the other. Kind of like one hand right, since the right better than the other one right. But in this case, with your kicks, you need to at least be strong on both sides. One side can be stronger. The other side has to at least know what it's doing. It's okay to have a good leg and a great leg. It's not okay to have a great leg and a bad leg. Right? So we're going to take that left leg, put some extra time and effort into doing it correctly. Right? Hands up. So with that back leg ground kick from here, try to feel it out. Turn your foot, push it off the ground. As soon as you leave the ground with it, make sure your back shoulder turns. If you're kicking with your body facing the front, that's going to throw your kick off balance. It's very important to make sure the first thing I do with a back leg ground kick, pivot that front foot. Get everything starting to go sideways. When you do that, when you pivot that front foot, you also want to pivot and turn your back foot. So actually turn both feet. All the weight should be on this leg. My shoulders are sideways, so now it's really easy to just take this back leg that's already light and lift it up. And then as I kick, what does your back foot do? It pivots. Boom. Then you set it down. Sideways feet, because you're going to do a side kick, a slide up side kick. Then you will slide together if you'd like to for right now. As you slide your back foot to your front foot, that can also be your moment to pivot that foot. I'll show you what I mean from the side. From here, and when you slide, instead of sliding them together like this, you can actually turn your foot and pivot it, pointing those toes behind you to make that side kick even easier. So I landed here, I take my back foot and turn my knee away from me, and then I slide it together. And then from here, my knee comes up. There's your easier side kick. Turn, set in front, take your back, keep them sideways, because from there, you're going to keep this leg up and drop this knee down. You just set it behind you, and it's very important to kind of find your foot behind you. Find the ground behind you, then drop that knee. Boom. And then I drop down. There's your side kick from there. Okay, so it's that back leg ground kick into slide up side kick into drop down side kick. A lot of times when I see most students that are having trouble with these kicks, it actually has nothing to do with the kicks themselves. A lot of times it has to do from the stance the student's trying to kick in. Right, if I try to do a side kick and my feet are way too wide, it's going to be really hard to side kick from there. If I try to round kick and my foot isn't pivoted, it's going to be really hard to round kick from there. So just make sure if you're having trouble with the kick, if you feel off balance, if you don't feel very strong, it's not you. It's your stance. Make sure your feet are in the right spot, and the kick will do what you want it to do. All right, so we're here, hands up. So again, with the round kick, you make sure your body goes from up facing where you're going to completely sideways. So I have to turn, and I've turned. Now my body is sideways. It's a lot easier to do this sideways round kick. So I pick my knee up. There goes my round kick. I set it on a sideways stance, and then from there I slide my feet together. My knee comes up in the front of me so I can do the front kick, and then I set it. Basically, I repeat that same stance. I just gently set it down in front of me, and then from here I take my back foot, in this case my right foot, and I just set it behind me. Good, keeping the weight here, and I drop my knee down. So I'm in that drop down side kick stance, and then without taking my eyes off of the target, I reach back for the ground, I side kick up, and I come back up. And that is the whole thing, okay? So that's kind of, especially now, make sure the kick is done correctly. So all the little parts of the kick is awesome, but then also especially on these kicks, because they're advancing kicks. It's a back leg round kick that in this case is landing in the front. It's a slide up side kick that's landing in the front. So sometimes when we do advancing kicks, we tend to advance too much. We take too big of a step, or we finish throwing our kick, instead of pulling our leg backwards and setting it down close to us, we let it kind of flop down really heavy in front of us, which ends up spreading our feet out too much. It's really hard to have balance and power when everything is super spread out. Okay, you do want to have you kind of want to keep your knees more underneath you and kind of keep your knees bent, right? Okay, so in this case from here, with your round kick, if I kick and my leg goes way too far out in the front of me, then what's probably going to happen is I'm going to slide way too far forward. So when I side kick, I'm going to kick way too hard and fall way too close. Everything's way, okay? So again, I'll show you from the side. If it's too much of a kick and I don't pull my foot back, if I don't rechamber my leg and I land with super wide feet, you'll still probably slide, but you're going to slide so far, everything's now falling forward. So you're going to go like this. You're going to feel off balance. So it's very important to have a good strong step, have a good strong kick, but then rechamber your leg, pull it right back into you so you can set your foot down. You always want a loud, strong kick, but a very quiet landing. The kick should have power going out, but should be very balanced coming down. This is what I mean. You have a loud, strong kick, boom, but you set it down very quietly. Okay, so one more time on your left side. And again, focus on loud kick, make it strong, make it snappy, but then when you pull your foot and put it back down, you set it down with a lot of balance. You shouldn't really hear your foot landing on the ground. So I turn, chamber, kick, pull it back, set it down. Slide, side kick strong, boom, set it down, put it behind you, pull in, kick, sit back up. Very good. Okay, feet together. And bow. Excellent job. So we'll go to position number 4. Take your hands. This one goes to a fist. Put the back of your hand. Oh, sorry. Open hand here. I keep punching the mic. Good. So have an open hand. It goes behind you. The fist goes in your open hand. This is also called position number 4. Okay. It's one of our ready positions. So the main focus is today worked on your form, kind of breaking all the little pieces down, making them better than we did before. This week is forms week. So it's taken not just form week, but like technique week. So making sure that since we have at this point learned all of our curriculum, we've gone over all the kicks, we've touched on the self-defenses, we've touched on the choke defenses, really dove a lot into our form. So you've seen everything. So now it's time to go back and make sure, just because you've seen it doesn't mean you can check the box and now on to the next thing. We have to learn how to do it all from start to finish. And then we get to go back and make sure all the things we're doing from start to finish, all the parts that make it up, are the very best we can make them. It's like our form today, we really broke apart the kicks, and we made sure we knew the difference between the side kick and the round kick. Not only the kicks themselves, how to move from one move into the next, where your feet go, how your body should feel, how your stances should look. Okay, that's a very key part into making your form strong. Isn't just doing the move, but then learning how to go from move to move, from back fist to punch, from punch to round kick, and all the way through your form with balance, because balance then equals power. Okay, we're going to check it again on your Wednesday class. You guys did a great job with that today, though. Feet together and bow. You are dismissed.